everybody, and welcome to this special on the new moon that happens on the 5th of July. So the new moon happens in the 21st Sabian degree of Gemini, and the tagline and the energy of this new moon is Labour demonstration. So I'm going to talk more about later what Sabian degrees are and stuff, and more what this means. But the new moon marks the beginning of a new lunar cycle. At the time of a new moon, the moon is always in conjunction with the sun. So at the exact time of the exact conjunction of the moon and sun, at 23:58 p.m. on the 5th of July, the sun and the moon are in the same degree. So this creates a powerful energy of new beginnings and fresh starts. It's a time of self-evaluation and setting intentions for the upcoming month. In astrology, the new moon represents a time for planting seeds and initiating projects or goals. From an astrological perspective, this new moon suggests a time of increased productivity and focus on work-related matters. So because this is a time of increased intuition, it can be a good opportunity for self-reflection and manifestation, just working with your own thoughts and goals and looking at them and thinking about the actions that you need to take to reach your goals. What habits, what socialization habits, which ways do you distract yourself and procrastinate, what do you need to do to be more in alignment with your authentic needs and goals. So the new moon in Gemini brings a whirlwind of energy and communication into our lives, and of course Gemini in astrology, symbolized by the twins, is known for its dual nature. It's symbolic of the war between good and, if you want to call it, bad or evil within ourselves. And Gemini energy wants us to be curious and flexible and in tune with all the different aspects of our personality, because Gemini energy is all about focusing on that there's always more than one side to one person and everything in life. So amongst other things. So we may find ourselves more inclined to socialise, as I said, talk to our neighbours, siblings, family, start new projects, engage in lively discussions. Anything that's scientific, technical and intellectual can really get us all going right now as well. And it's a good energy to work in those areas. So learn something new, network and express yourself more creatively. But negatively, Gemini's influence can make us feel scattered and restless, and our minds can be racing with ideas and possibilities, and so can conversations. People could just say words for the sake of it and not mean them, so just make sure you check facts. Don't be believing in fantasies unless the fantasy is real, sort of thing, and it just allows us to just open up to newness. But we have to do this in a grounded way and try and focus on what truly matters to avoid becoming overwhelmed. And so in terms of the practical meanings, the new moon in Gemini, as I said, is in the 21st Sabian degree, which has the symbology of a labour demonstration. So, activism, standing up for ourselves can be the focus. It's a great energy to use for collective action, to solve problems in the workplace, in your relationships, and to stand up for your working condition rights and labour rights and stuff like that as well, and to vote and things. This energy allows us to stand up for what we believe in and advocate for fair treatment in the workplace, in our families, in our relationships, in society, and it brings attention to social and economic issues that are related to labour and employment, and it can spark discussions on potential reforms. So on the personal level, this energy encourages us to assess our own work-life balance and consider our career choices and just our overall choices that we make in life. The thoughts we allow to repeat in our mind, the behaviours we allowed ourselves to do, the toxic ways that we relate to ourselves and others, and although they may not seem like choices all the time, I know we're all dealing with psychological, emotional and spiritual health issues, and also maybe physical and financial ones as well, so I get it. But the new moon is calling for us to think about the ways that we can stand up and take accountability for our lives more. And this means, standing up for being responsible for the things we do and the things we say and the thoughts that we allow. And I know that it can be hard when we're depressed and we've got psychological illnesses like OCD and stuff, so no one's victim blaming or anything like that here. But what I'm trying to say is that suffering from psychological and emotional health issues myself, I know that when I manage myself, and I know that sometimes I can't always do that when I'm low, but I noticed that in my high moments or balanced moments rather, and that's what we should be heading for, equilibrium and balance. If I look after my health in the best ways, it sort of it has reduced the amount of times I get low. So just looking at the ways that you can monitor yourself and how yourself reach the goals that you want to do. And it also just reminds us to be mindful of the value of our work and the importance of fair treatment and equal opportunities in not only our work environments but in our society. So ultimately, on the practical level, this new moon invites us to reflect on the practical implications of our actions and choices in relation to our work and overall and collective well-being as well. In terms of worldly and materialistic meanings, we can see more of an increase on financial matters, and people may have more of an increase of a desire to gain material possessions or spend money on products and services right now. And this can be because people are seeking comfort, and they may try and find comfort in the things they're buying, the things they view and see, and the people they experience things with at this time. But it's important to be mindful of the potential trap of excessive materialism, looking for external validation from people and status and money and things, and the illusion that doing that can bring, and the illusion of thinking that possessions or external validation alone or getting to your destination can bring you true happiness and fulfillment. It's the journey that gives us the fulfillment, the taking time to slow down and slowly retrain ourselves if need be, to think more positively, to do more positive things, to seek out the help, to even admit we need help, to even admit that we can have more control over our lives. The only thing we can control is ourselves. We can't control the world, but we have more control over how we show up in the world by taking accountability. We can we can't control everything, but we can make life better for ourselves. So it's an opportunity to reevaluate your relationship with material wealth and find a balance between your material desires and your true values and priorities. And in terms of collective trends, it could see an uptake in discussions around how we overconsume and consumer culture and the impact on our lives and our psychological and emotional health and our the environment of Earth as well. And it wants us to develop a more healthier approach, a more conscious mindset towards acquiring material possessions and money and stuff like that. So on the worldly materialistic level, all in all, it prompts us to reassess our financial strategies and make the necessary changes to ensure stability and growth. And this goes for individuals and organisations alike, and governments and stuff like that as well. And it just highlights the importance of collective action and cooperation in achieving financial success for the collective, and an economic structure that's sustainable. We're always going into recessions, and this is because the system is built on boom and bust, But anyway, In terms of collective energy shifts during the new moon, it brings fresh new energy, and this can increase the sense of collective consciousness as a shared focus on personal growth and transformation. The new moon acts as a powerful portal for manifestation and setting intentions for the 28-30 days coming, because we go new moon to new moon, and it's a time to tune into our inner selves and connect with our intuition and align our actions with our deepest desires. And as the collective energy shifts with the new moon, it's a good opportunity for self-reflection, inner work, and making positive changes in our lives. So whether it's starting new projects, letting go of what no longer serves us, or embracing new perspectives, the collective energy of the new moon supports us in our journey of personal and spiritual evolution. And in the context of the 21st Sabian degree of Gemini, it wants us to, advocate and stand up for ourselves, and, it can inspire movements and activism within the community, highlighting the, importance of social justice and equality. So it really encourages us, the message, the esoteric meaning, the energy behind this new moon is about doing things that enable us to come together and raising our voices and striving for more equality in society. So this doesn't mean it all has to come at once. You may just vow to do your part in helping us as a collective, as humanity, to rise our vibration or our actions, so we can live in a world where, there aren't people being tortured for their gender or skin colour or religion or beliefs or anything like that, where we can live in a world, and to get to that world we have to do a lot of talking and and other things as well. There's going to be a lot of debates and resistance, of course, but it's about thinking about how you can bring more equality into your life, into your mindset, by thinking, if you just think negative thoughts, by thinking more positive thoughts. In terms of the psychological meaning, it wants us to examine our relationship with work and our sense of purpose, and reflect on our own contributions and the value we place on our own, efforts and achievements, our work, the efforts we make in our jobs and our personal projects and our relationships and stuff. It wants us to, introspect, to self-reflect on whether our current work and relationships align with our values, and, do our relationships and work and our life fulfill us on a deeper level. And it encourages us to seek change and explore new paths, whether it be in our career, and make changes to our overall well-being, satisfaction in our professional and personal lives by taking care of our spiritual, emotional, psychological, physical, financial needs. And it just highlights and emphasises the importance of finding a balance between work and our personal needs in life. Also, it's important to maintain healthy boundaries to avoid burnout and promote overall mental well-being, and it encourages us to prioritise our self-care and self-compassion, and understand that our worth is not solely tied to our labour, but encompasses our overall sense of self and happiness. In terms of the spiritual meaning, the new moon in the 21st degree of Gemini challenges us to demonstrate our commitment to growth and transformation by actively engaging in spiritual practices and seeking higher knowledge. And the new moon invites us to explore and expand our understanding of spiritual concepts and engage in more meaningful conversations about our beliefs, and actively seek out opportunities for spiritual growth and evolution. It encourages us to embrace our own unique spiritual path and find ways to express and share our spiritual insights with others. Ultimately, the new moon in this degree reminds us that spirituality and life is not passive. It requires active participation and a willingness to demonstrate our dedication to self-improvement, and spiritual awakening and commitment to our lifelong self-management, understanding, healing and love journey. In terms of the esoteric meaning, labour, hard work represents the effort needed to gain inner transformation and awakening and to change our lifestyles. I believe we all know, I'm firmly on this fact that most human beings, after we get past a certain age, know deep down what they need to do to change their life, but it becomes harder because of relationships, family, society expectations, comfort zones, psychological, emotional health and physical health issues. Life gets in the way. There's so many things that get in the way of us changing, but historically it symbolises the process of breaking free from our limitations and our past conditioning and old patterns of believing and relating to ourselves and others in the world to access higher levels of consciousness. And it wants us to not only bring about collective change, societal change, but on a deeper level it represents the inner struggle and dedication needed to overcome personal obstacles and evolve spiritually or emotionally, psychologically and emotionally as well. And it pushes us to actively engage in self-reflection, self-discipline, awareness, love, forgiveness and spiritual practices that align with our higher purpose or contribute to our greater good, our inner stability, and helps us to understand our psychological, emotional and spiritual challenges so that we can manage them and learn to navigate the obstacles they bring to our lives so they don't stop us from enjoying life all the time. So in terms of hidden truths and insights as well, this new moon pushes us to question tradition, conformity, what the world tells us to think is right, and explore alternative perspectives and beliefs. And by engaging in research, self-reflection and seeking knowledge, not information gathering is just, we scroll, we take in, we consume so much, we're just overload. Research, actually looking at the points, going off and looking deeper into the points, maybe seeing what the scientists say, then seeing what the those who believe in technology say, then maybe seeing what those who believe in spirituality say and what people say in religion, seeking out different opinions and critically thinking. And doing this, we can uncover hidden truths about ourselves and the world around us. And by exploring ourselves and being open to discovering ourselves, it allows us to break free from conventional thinking and just gain a broader understanding of our purpose and place in the universe. And it invites us to embrace being curious and open-minded, and gives us a thirst for knowledge that can lead to personal growth and us expanding our consciousness, and through uncovering hidden truths and insights, we can navigate life with more clarity and make more informed choices that align more with our authentic self. So in terms of the karma and the karmic lessons and the past life meanings of the new moon and the 21st degree of Gemini, again, it wants us to seek clarity and express ourselves more authentically. And to do this, we need to ask ourselves why we believe in the things we do, and can we upgrade our beliefs, and what gets in the way of us doing so, and what do we fear, and what gets in the way of us, being ourselves. And normally it's rejection from our friends, family or lovers or anyone else or society on whole, So in terms of karmic lessons, it wants us to, refine our communication skills, think about the ways we communicate, asking ourselves if they're effective or not, and just embrace being more curious and flexible in our life. In terms of past life meanings, lifetimes where we may have been writers, teachers or scholars, academics in previous incarnations may show up not consciously unless you actively work with your dreams and your psychic awareness and stuff, but just things that happen now could be in relation to that. Or you may go in, and find the hidden truth that you have a natural ability to write or teach or do something else involving communication that you never knew that you could do. So this new moon offers an opportunity to work on karma related to how we learn things and how we communicate. So now I'm just going to talk more in depth about the aspects that the moon and the sun are making when there is this new moon on the 5th of July, and then I'm going to talk more in depth about the Sabian degrees that are active, which come from the aspects that the moon and the sun are making at the time of the new moon in Gemini on the 5th of July. So the moon and the sun are making a conjunction to Venus, and the trine to Saturn, and the square to the moon's north node. So the conjunction to Venus allows us to sort of like connect with ourselves and others on a deeper level, and express our emotions in a more balanced and graceful manner, just be more charming and polite and assertive, and respect other people's boundaries as well as sort of like enforcing our own boundaries as well. And it just helps us to be more upbeat about solving our inner tension and any relationship conflicts that come up right now. And it's a good energy to, start or continue working on creative projects and cooperating with others and understanding them as well. The sun and the moon's trine to Saturn brings a stabilising and grounding influence. As you know, in astrology, Saturn represents discipline, structure, karma and responsibility. So whatever we do now, the intentions that we set now, or the choices that we make now can, set solid foundations for our goals and aspirations, but they can also lead us away. So as I was saying earlier, we have to kind of choose wisely what we do now. Saturn trine to the moon and sun promotes us being practical, being patient, resilient, and getting back up after each failure and persevering through the challenges and not giving up. It's also a good energy to work on our long-term planning and goals with, and it helps us to make realistic goals and targets, and kind of just grounds us, which we need, And the sun and moon makes a square to the moon's north node, and this can bring challenges and tensions during the new moon's phase, and it represents our karmic path and the direction that we are meant to go and evolve, and it just adds to the internal conflicts and obstacles that can get in the way of us fulfilling our goals and life purpose right now. But again, if we just make the right choices and take time out, avoid burnout, then this energy won't adversely affect us. Okay, so when I do my full and new moon analysis, I use Sabian symbols. I also use this in all my other analysis of the planets and stuff. So I decided to just record this and put it at the beginning of all of these, and so you can skip past this if you heard it before. So Sabian symbols in astrology are a set of 360 symbolic images, and karmic and holistic astrologers like myself and those astrologers that like to go in depth or work more intuitively as well, or just drawn to Sabian symbols, use them. And each of these 336 symbols corresponds to 1 degree of the zodiac. So there's 30 Sabian symbols for each zodiac sign. And Sabian symbols were developed by one of my favourite astrologers because of his earlier contributions, Mark Edmund Jones, and psychic Elsie Wheeler in the 1920s. And each Sabian symbol offers a unique insight into the energy and the more esoteric, spiritual and karmic meanings of a particular degree in the zodiac. And I sort of use these symbologies, and especially at the time of the full and new moons, because I see these as really more times for us to go inward and reflect on ourselves, even though the new moon is more about starting new things. But for some of you, you might just find that the new moon too is a time of reflection. So Sabian symbols allows me to go into nuance, esoteric, spiritual and karmic meanings. So thanks for listening to this. So now I'm going to talk about the Sabian degrees in more depth. The Sun and the Moon are in the 21st degree of Gemini. Venus is in the 29th degree of Gemini as well. And Saturn's in the 26th degree of Aquarius. So I'm going to talk more about how they positively and negatively affect this new moon in Gemini. So, as I said, the Sun and the Moon are both in the 21st degree of Gemini, and this symbology is a labour demonstration, and it can signify a period of intense communication, exchange of ideas, and potential conflicts surrounding beliefs or values. Positively, it can spark innovation and progress through collective action. On the flip side, there'll be tension and misunderstandings that need to be addressed. And what's interesting, I'm sure the general election in the new UK is going to be taken around this time. Yeah, well, it's actually going to take place on the 4th of July, which in America is the Independence Day as well. So this energy is saying that, we know there's a lot of tension, a lot of diverse opinions. So whoever wins, it can really divide public opinion. And I know it can be for either party, but it's going to be a sort of like a shock. And if we're going to take it verbatim, even though the new moon's on the 5th of July and the election in the UK is on the 4th of July, then we would say that it mentions the symbology, mentions Labour, so Labour should win. So let's see if that comes true. So anyway, so Venus is in the 29th degree of Gemini, and this is linked to the 4th rib in the human body and has the Sabian symbology of the first mockingbird of spring sings from the treetop. So this suggests a time of rejuvenation, new beginnings in relationships and creative plans. And so if you want to go politically, then this can be a time of new structures as well, new governments as well. So this energy brings harmony and inspiration and a sense of renewal, but it can also bring a tendency towards just being superficial and escaping. If we don't ground ourselves at the time of this new moon in the coming, 4 weeks after, because this energy lasts new moon to new moon. So Saturn is in the 26th degree of Aquarius, and it rules the right fibula in the human body and has the symbology of a hydrometer. And this energy wants us to uphold our boundaries and implement practical solutions and maintain a sense of balance in challenging situations. So Saturn's influence on the new moon pushes us and supports us to assess our long-term goals and responsibilities, pushing us to take a grounded approach to any changes and developments that come up at this time. Okay, so now I'm just going to talk more in depth about the Sabian degrees and explore their physical, holistic, social, collective, plus the psychological, spiritual, esoteric, occult meanings of the Sabian degrees. So as I said, the Sun and Moon are in the 21st degree of Gemini, as it rules the arm muscles in the human body. So this symbolises strength and action. Our arms, we use them to do so many activities when we have the full uses of our arms, and it wants us to be putting more effort and become more determined, not only about our personal goals, but about our collective goals, and take unified action towards reaching our goals. So on an individual level, this would mean by getting to know your strengths and weaknesses and make peace with them, and making peace with, your positive personality traits and your shadow personality traits, because we've all got that darker side, So from a physical perspective, the Sun and Moon in the 21st degree of Gemini highlights the importance of maintaining strength in our arm muscles for optimal functionality. So just taking time out to do things to look after your hands and your arms and shoulders and, the top of your back and all of that right now can be beneficial. It wants us to, advocate for workers' rights and supports us in doing that, and, using our inner strength to overcome our obstacles. And Venus is in the 29th degree of Gemini, and this falls the fourth rib in our bodies. And from a physical standpoint, the fourth rib plays a vital role in protecting our vital organs, and this represents the need for emotional and physical stability, and us to nurture our and look after our emotional, physical, psychological and spiritual needs, reminding us of the importance of healthy self-care and tending to our well-being in non-toxic ways. On the collective level, it offers us hope and inspiration to reach our goals, especially in towards of, bringing about more equal rights and justice in society and in our relationships as well. On the psychological level, it supports us in expressing ourselves authentically and finding joy in the simplest of pleasures. On the spiritual level, it reminds us to listen to our inner voice, and I know, when we suffer from like anxiety and stress and stuff, it can be so hard to discern the inner voice, and sometimes it can become negative. So, my point in saying that is, don't feel sort of like, oh no, I can't hear my inner voice because of this. I understand, but just doing the things that can help you get more in tune and manage, any health issues that you've got, so you can just live more in balance. As I said earlier, esoterically, it wants us to awaken to our intuitive abilities and look into managing the things, our habits, our toxic thoughts, our toxic behaviours and relationships that get in the way of us transcending, living a better life. So overall, Venus in the 29th degree of Gemini wants us to embrace the changeability of our life and nurture our emotional and physical well-being. Saturn, as I said, is in the 26th degree of Aquarius, so from a physical standpoint, it reminds us to take care of our physical well-being and retain a strong foundation in our lives and be fair, so that we can have positive interactions with the world, our communities and in our relationship. So on the psychological level, it encourages us to assess, reflect and measure and get to know our psychological and emotional and physical states, so we can learn to manage them and find ways to achieve a sense of balance and inner stability. And it supports us in, progressing and connecting with our higher selves and higher goals. And it supports us in understanding change and the changes we need to make in our life as well. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about how the new moon can influence our relationships. So in terms of family relationships, we could find ourselves talking more with our siblings and neighbours, as I said in the introduction, but Gemini's scattered energy can lead to us misunderstanding or a lack of focus within the family unit. Friendships can really thrive under the new moon in Gemini. As I said, we can be more social and chatty, but because of gossip and miscommunication, this can cause problems in our socialisation right now and networking. So fact check, don't repeat anything you're not willing to bear the consequence of, and try not to also waste energy as well. Yeah, it can be fun to gossip and stuff, but a lot of the time when people gossip about us, we don't like it. So yeah, in terms of co-worker relationships, it allows us to have more innovative ideas and work can flow more freely in the workplace, but negatively because we can be indecisive and inconsistent. This can lead to challenges in our project management or our team dynamics. And in terms of committed relationships, we can have more reflection and growth in our committed relationships, and couples may feel inspired to have honest conversations or try new things together, and work on strengthening their bonds through intellectual connection and activities. But the dual nature changeability, mutability of Gemini energy can bring about moments of indecision or communication breakdowns that require patience and understanding. In terms of hookup relationships, can bring more excitement and unpredictability. There can be a surge of passion and a desire for adventure and seeking novelty and more intellectual stimulation. But because of the changeable, fleeting nature of hookup casual relationships combined with, Gemini's changeable energy, this can lead to misunderstandings or mixed signals. So just make sure you're giving out the right signals and just ask questions. Don't assume anything. Don't assume that because someone's looking at you, they want to marry you, sort of thing. Just ask questions. Clear communication and setting boundaries are key to navigate this new moon energy that influences the whole coming 28 months as well in its own little way. People who are self-partnered and single, should use this energy to explore new interests, try out different activities and connect with a diverse range of people or information. And this can lead to exciting opportunities for personal growth, self-discovery or even relationship growth, But Gemini's scattered energy can create moments of feeling overwhelmed or indecisive about what to go after. So it's important for individuals to embrace the flexibility of Gemini and find ways to ground themselves if you feel restless and impulsive, and do all you can in a healthy way to maintain focus and determination, so you can meet your targets at work or your personal goals. And also for those who are self-partnered, who are single, you may just feel inspired to introspect and communicate with yourself on a deeper level. So this can be a time to explore your personal interests, engage in self-care and activities, or set new goals, and just be more open and curious and adaptable. And in general, you may want more communication and intellectual stimulation. So that's the end of this analysis of the new moon in Gemini on the 5th of July. Thanks a lot for listening. Take care and see you next time. If you like my videos, please follow and subscribe. It means a lot. So see you next time.